system's rigged, man, it's time to
Looking at also that week, looking at your next slide, July 22nd. They're talking a little bit about the weather, how late it is in the day. Katherine Magbanua asked for Jerry to call in a prescription scalp medication.
Yes, a prescription for shampoo.
Okay, prescription shampoo. Okay. All right, and what's next?
So on July 23rd,
So on this one, Charlie Adelson says, don't forget to text Jerry your info. He'll call it in the morning, sweet dreams. And then later, she says something that he says laugh out loud to.
correct, yes.
All right. What's next?
So the July 25th,
So on July 25th, she says, have a good day, smiley face. He says, you too.
yes,
In all of the messages, in all of the messages from the records between this defendant and Katherine Magbanua from 2014 to 2016, are there any messages where they discuss Charlie Adelson being blackmailed or extorted or violent people wanting to hurt his family, anything like that?
none that I found.
During those years, though, I mean, do the defendant and Katherine Magbanua stay in regular contact with each other, even after they break up that fall in
Yes.
2014? Okay. From the messages, do they appear to have a close friendship?
They do, yes.
Okay. And when I say in regular contact, sometimes they talk multiple times a day, every day.
Correct.
All right. Can you show us just a couple of examples of their close friendship? Can you show us October 6th, 2014?
Yes, so this talks, and these be 2:18 in the morning, or I'm sorry, 2:18 in the afternoon of October 6th. There's communication about him being a good father, potential to be a good father.
Okay. And she's saying that you have to find the right girl that you can deal with and to see if she's worth it.
Yes,
Okay. And what's next? And if she gives you hell, Katherine Magbanua will set her straight, winky face, and he says, I love you. It makes me feel good that you care about me. I'm very lucky to have you as part of my life. And he says, I'll always care about you.
that's
Or
correct.
she says that, rather.
That's correct.
All right. Next, she says, no, can we go back to the next one then after he says he's lucky to have her as part of his life?
Yes, I'm going to need to fix something on that slide.
Okay, no problem. Judge, for time purposes, I'll maybe have 10 minutes left, I would say. 15 minutes left, if that. Okay. Can you show us the next one? Okay, I
Yes.
think that's the last one we read. Okay. Can you go to the next one after that? All right. She says, just a second. Okay. Here she says, I always know, this is in February of 2015, is that correct?
Correct, February 24th.
She says, see, I always know how to make you smile. He says, yes, you do. She says, good, I love you. He says, I love you too.
Correct.
All right, what's next? On October 27th of 2015, she says, hey, you're probably busy celebrating your birthday. I just want to thank you so much for helping me out. I love you. I love you. Have a great birthday. I hope I see you soon this week. And he says, can't wait to get lunch with you. You're the best, and I am lucky to have you as a friend for life. Smiley face.
Yes.
Okay, what's next? All right, and then this one they kind of exchange, you don't miss me, I do miss you, with some, okay.
Yep.
Go to the next one. All right. This one, they're talking about something, and he ends it with, LOL, you're the best.
Correct.
And LOL, does that mean laugh out loud?
It does, yes.
All right. Were you involved in securing a wiretap of some of the suspects in this case in 2016?
Yes.
And what is a wiretap?
A wiretap is sort of a general term for our ability to intercept either wire communications, something said over a phone line, electronic communications, maybe a text, or oral communications, things that are spoken. But when law enforcement is able to lawfully intercept those, to record them during the course of an investigation.
Does an order have to be signed by a judge and sent to the phone carrier in order to have authority to conduct a wiretap?
Yes.
And so because of that, I mean, are we able to go back and listen to the content of these phone calls that we've seen today from back in 2014?
No, we don't have the ability to go back and record phone calls in the past. The only way that we would know about communications would be if we were to extract a phone, like we see the Cellbrite extractions or forensic extractions of phones. We may be able to see some text messages, but we don't have the ability to capture things back in the past.
At that time, we didn't know that a crime was about to be committed.
That's correct.
Okay. But if for a wiretap investigation, police can get that order to listen to suspects' phones in real time.
That's correct.
All right. Can you explain to the jury what type of equipment is needed to conduct a wiretap?
Certainly, it's relatively complicated in today's world, but there is equipment on the carrier side where they're able to send us information about the activity, the text message content, and information about the calls, who's calling who, all of that information. And then they're also able to send us the actual content. So they're able to send us the audio when someone's on a phone call of what's being spoken. And then we have computer servers that receive that information and software that displays it for us, an intercept kind of interface where we're able to see the incoming calls. We have some controls where we can play calls back, and we can see calls for the day, write synopsis for them as they're coming in. So it again, a lot of computer equipment necessary to conduct that.
Do the people who are listening or monitoring to these calls in real time have to go through certain types of training to do that?
They do. First, we do what we call minimization training. And we are not, law enforcement, we're not allowed to intercept calls that may be privileged or not relevant to the investigation. So we can't listen to everything that is said. So the first thing that a monitor or someone who's listening has to know is, one, about the investigation. So they have to read that affidavit, the application for the wiretap. They have to read that thoroughly and be briefed on the investigation so that they know the relevant persons, the relevant evidence that we're looking for, kind of the history of the investigation, so they have some context when they're listening to these calls going on. And then they have training on how to actually do that minimization, how to actually stop the recording so that we can't hear that information, we can't record that information that we don't believe is relevant or authorized under the order. So they receive, again, training about the investigation and then how to actually operate the software.
And they're required to minimize it, right? If it's not relevant to the investigation, it's not
That
a
is
choice.
correct, yes.
Okay. And are you limited in time to decide whether the conversation is relevant or not?
We are, again, everything is geared towards not intercepting communications that we shouldn't. So for parties that we know never talk about anything relevant, then that period of time that we listen may be less. and then we immediately minimize because we know historically they never talk about anything that's relevant to the investigation. For parties that do communicate about the investigation, then that period of time may be a little longer. The amount of time that we stay minimized, or the amount of time that we come off of that before we come back and spot check, or we will come back and see if the topic of the conversation has changed. Are they now talking about something that's relevant? Again, that varies a little bit based on the monitor's knowledge of the case, history of communication between them. But yes, we do have some guidelines for the amount of time that we can listen and how long before we can go back.
Okay, how can we as listeners of the call tell if an officer is doing that?
You'll hear an audible tone during the call. It's an abrupt audible tone.
And is the portion of the call that is minimized recorded then?
It is not recorded.
All right. When listening, do you have to be on the lookout for suspects who may try to mask the meaning of what they're talking about just in case law enforcement is listening?
Yes.
Is that common for people to do?
It is, yes.
All right. And were Katherine Magbanua and Charlie Adelson's phones tapped in this case?
They were, yes.
All right. Who supervises these wire calls?
I was the wire room supervisor, the person responsible for kind of the technical side of it. And then from the legal side, there is a state attorney assigned that is conducts the training, keeps up with the investigation, and ultimately a judge who authorized it.
And who keeps or maintains the recordings of the calls?
During the investigation or during the course of the wiretap, we have a partnership with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They're the first point that receives that and sends it on to us. They maintain those originally, and then at the completion of it, those tapes are transferred to us in our custody and maintained securely.
Okay. All right. So the bump in this case, was that at 1:47 p.m. on April 19th, 2016. When I say the bump, I mean when Donna Adelson was approached by the undercover officer and handed the article about Dan Markel's murder?
Yes.
All right, so looking at 1:47 p.m. on April 19th, 2016, who was Donna Adelson's first call after the bump? Can you tell us that from the call detail records?
I can, yes. So we see here her records from that date. The red line indicates the time of the bump or the time of the contact. And we see that her first call at 2:09 p.m. is outgoing to Charlie Adelson.
We have seen and heard about emails in the course of the trial which detail Donna Adelson's strong interest in the divorce of Wendy Adelson and Dan Markel. Is there phone communication in the iCloud between Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson that shows Charlie Adelson's interest in the divorce?
Yes.
Okay. Can you show us that first message, looking at maybe October of 2013? Was there a message in mid-October about that? All right, what does this say?
So this is from Donna Adelson to Charlie Adelson. It says, a horrible evening for your sister and for us. Dad finally had to walk outside to lower his blood pressure. Just awful. I can't even explain.
She says she's on the way back to Wendy's house. Okay,
Yes.
can we go to the next slide? Now on the slide before, did it say, I bet let's talk this week by Charlie Adelson after he heard that?
Yes.
Okay. Looking at the next slide, what happened on October 30th of 2013?
There is, again, a message from Donna Adelson indicating she just got a text from Wendy mentioning that she's moving ahead with the purchase of a home.
Okay. And what does Charlie Adelson respond to that? Can you read those to us?
He indicates she never told me. Why is she doing this? She never mentions it to me on the phone. I guess it's because it's stupid. Did Danny give her permission to move? Schools.
Okay. And what does he say after that?
He says he will hold that over her and use it as leverage, especially after she puts money down. She is really stupid. Give them their asking price? Question marks.
And what about after that?
He says, I can try again, but I only talk to her about one time a week and leave about 7 messages. And then he
Okay.
indicates this would be October 31st, and the times here on these messages are still in coordinated universal time. So in October, we're 4 hours behind, but that should be about 1 a.m. But he says, spoke to Wendy. I think I made some headway. Hope you're having an awesome time in Israel. Have a good night.
Okay. Now, the times that we saw earlier in your presentation, those have all already been converted to the actual time that was sent, right?
That's correct. Everything up to this point has been converted to our local time. And I do point out that communications with Donna here that we've just been talking about, those, if you notice the time in the bottom of the messages still say UTC plus 0, which means there's been no offset or subtracting of time to get to our local time zone.
So in those messages, he seems to be thinking that her buying a house is not a good idea. Danny will hold it over her head, use it as leverage, and he's trying to talk her out of it.
Correct.
All right, and then what's the next message to his mom? Wait, I'm sorry, did you read the last one?
I did. Spoke to Wendy. I think I made some headway. Hope you're having an awesome time in Israel. Have a good night.
Okay, and how does his mom respond? Okay, let me go to...
Just indicates that the Adelsons appear to be in Israel at the time, and look forward to speaking with him soon.
Okay. Danny sent them some pictures of the kids in Halloween costumes, it says?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go to the next one.
So Charlie states, spoke to Wendy for 20 minutes last night. She texted me today that she pulled the plug on the house.
Okay. With some smiley faces?
Yes.
And how does Donna Adelson respond?
Wow, Charlie, thank you again. How did you accomplish that? You're a miracle worker. Tell us.
Okay. Lots of exclamation points used there.
Yes.
And this is on Halloween of 2013, on October 31st October 31st of 2013, and then the day after?
Yes.
Okay. And then the conversations about her buying the house and Charlie Adelson against it, that was all the day before Halloween of 2013?
Yes.
Could buying a house in an area be unfavorable for like a motion for relocation?
I believe so, yes.
All right. What about in February of 2014?
I believe there's more here in this exchange from November 1st. This will be the continuation of the October 30th to the 31st to the 1st.
Okay.
But he indicates, in response to the question of how did you accomplish it, he responds with a series of text about how that went.
So Danny would have used it against Wendy as leverage. She needs to get permission from him. He has several other reasons why it would have been the dumbest mistake of her life, the second dumbest mistake of her life.
Yes.
Okay, and what's next?
It says it took about 15 minutes of talking to her. I basically told her owning a house is like getting married, renting is like dating. Why the F would you want to get married again?
Okay. And what's next in February of 2014? Was there some more messages from the mom?
Yes, so February 15th of 2014, so been in the evening hours or afternoon hours. Donna Adelson indicates that Wendy is stressed out.
Okay. Does she say that Wendy will have to go through another depo? Could that be short for deposition?
Yes.
Is that where the other side's attorney gets to ask you a bunch of questions?
It is, yes.
That's outrageous. They're talking about repetitive motions being filed, and the $500,000 account is the same $50,000 he tried to get his hands on last time, but it's in Wendy's name.
Correct.
Okay, and what does Charlie Adelson say to that?
Crazy.
And what does Donna Adelson say after that? Total waste of the court's time. Yesterday, he sent Wendy a text that said he saw her leaving the school at 2:07. He's stalking her.
Yes.
Okay, and what does Donna Adelson say after that? That Wendy wants to file a protective order, is that what that said?
Yes.
But that's very hard to do unless there's a previous history of threats or abuse. But she wants to let the judge know he's stalking her.
Yes.
Okay, what's next? And Charlie Adelson says, I agree.
Correct.
All right, what does Donna Adelson say after that?
Anyway, it looks like mid-March or mid-April before anything will be resolved regarding him paying her through the court system.
Okay. And then does Donna Adelson go on to complain about the judge on the case giving him too much time to pay?
Yes.
Okay, and what's next? Okay, is that more complaints about the judge in the divorce case?
Yes.
Okay, what's next? Charlie Adelson, is that where, does he say how much per hour the divorce attorney costs and that she needs to give a refund or complain to the bar?
Yes.
All right, and what's after that? Does he ask whether Wendy's mad at her attorney yet?
He does, yes.
Okay, what's next? What does Donna Adelson say here?
In response, she says yes, but don't get, I assume that to be her, worked up about it. She's too stressed about it. Let's just keep conversation with her light and not add to what she's dealing with. Let her just get through Monday with positive family support. Nothing stressful. Trust me on this. Okay.
So Wendy's so stressed out, she doesn't want Charlie Adelson adding any more stress to her.
Correct.
All right. What about after that on February 17th? So does Donna Adelson indicate there that she's just leaving the courthouse?
Yes.
Okay. And what does Charlie Adelson say?
Says at work and then ask, how did it go?
What does Donna Adelson say to that?
Okay, we'll talk later.
Okay. Charlie Adelson asks what happened?
Yes.
Does Donna Adelson then go into some detail about what happened in court, what Wendy wants the parenting coordinator to do, and that Wendy wants the parenting coordinator questioned because she hates Danny, and will ask the court to have.
Are you objecting?
Yes,
What is your objection?
read the whole thing or not all of it.
Please read the whole thing, the rule of completeness.
The judge was really pissed at him for not paying Wendy, but she will allow them to depot her with very strict limitations on the questions. Then Wendy wants the parenting coordinator questioned because she hates Danny and will ask the court to have him court-appointed psychological testing, exclamation points.
Okay, and what's next?
Charlie Adelson states, this is February 17th, her attorney is going to run up a very large bill for Danny.
All right, and Donna Adelson says, yep.
Yep.
All right, what about 2 days later on February 19th?
Another text from Donna Adelson. If you speak to Wendy today, tread lightly. Don't ask questions about the depot, her lawyer, etc. Tough day and she's really stressed out. The asshole showed up at soccer yesterday, and when she tried to leave with the boys, he said, no, stay here and play with Abba. She to the boys that Abba had to leave, and he said, no, I don't. Of course, she woke up to another email from him telling her that she is lying to the boys about their father's whereabouts and that this will be brought before the court. Such a fucker. It was Wendy's day. He is allowed to attend the children's activities, but that's where it ends.
So Donna Adelson looks like she was mad that he didn't just attend the activities. Dan Markel engaged with the kids, gave them a hug, said he wanted to play with them.
Yes.
All right. Was there a text message exchange in March of 2014 where Donna Adelson asked Charlie Adelson to erase a text that she sent?
Yes.
Okay, can you show us that? Can you read it to us?
Two texts here. The first says 37 miles to Gainesville. And the next is, I can't talk now, but I'll text you before we stop in Gainesville where I can go to the bathroom and have a moment of privacy. Then I'll call. Please pick up because I will have very limited, quote, alone time today. Erase this text after you read it.
Okay, so she wants to go to a bathroom to talk to Charlie Adelson on the phone in private once she gets in Gainesville here,
Yes.
but wants him to erase that text on his phone.
It's what it indicates, yes.
Okay. Then a few minutes later, what does she say?
We'll stop in about 5 minutes and I can speak to you privately about Dad's birthday gift when I'm out of the car. I have some good ideas.
Okay. So in this text, she's saying that the text she sent 30 minutes before is about Dad's birthday gift,
It would seem so, yes.
or that the call she wanted to make was about Dad's birthday gift, rather.
Yes.
Does she ask him to erase this text message, though?
No.
And that's the message where she's talking about what the secret call is supposed to be about, right?
Yes.
If the defendant's dad, Harvey Adelson's birthday isn't until July, it would appear that they were planning a birthday present for him here on this phone call in a Gainesville bathroom about 4 months in advance, right?
Yes.
All right, what does Charlie Adelson say when his mom sends him that?
He replies, great.
Okay, and what's next?
Charlie responds, if you don't pick up, I'll call you back in 30 seconds.
Okay, and what's next?
Don't call yet. I need 5 minutes till we get to Panera Bread.
All right, was there a message in May of 2014 where Donna Adelson references having a tough conversation with Wendy?
Yes, and I'm sorry, there's an additional response here after these text messages where Charlie Adelson texts, you guys back yet?
Okay, and that's it. I'm sorry, can you go back?
I can
That-
try.
That would appear to be about,
Yes, does not like going backwards.
okay. Does it appear that the you guys back yet message was about 6 hours after the I'll call you when I get to the bathroom?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Could that be consistent with arriving back in Miami from stopping in the Gainesville area?
Could be, yes.
All right, so this message references a tough conversation with Wendy and a horrible morning with Danny
Yes.
and a tough conversation with her.
Yes.
All right, looking at June 7th of 2014, what does Donna Adelson say to Charlie Adelson that day?
Just waiting for Gary to come. Should be here any minute. Hope you have a good evening. Would you like the apartment? The weekend of June 19th to the 22nd. I think we're going to Tally. I miss the boys too much to wait till Dad's birthday week to see them. Besides, we want you to spend some time here. We love you. Heart, Mom and Dad.
Okay. Now, June 7th, this would be the day after, would this be the day after Garcia and Rivera arrived back in Miami with an unsuccessful trip for them to Tallahassee, where they did not accomplish the murder of Dan Markel?
Yes.
So this would have been the day after they got back in Miami from Tallahassee.
Yes.
Okay? And what's next?
He responds, okay, have fun. Still working on Dad's B-Day present. To which Donna Adelson says, I know it's a tough B-Day, being 70 and all, but I know you'll come through. And then there's a thumbs up, kissy face, Mom.
Okay? And those messages are on the following day, on June 8th, 2014?
They're actually June 7th if you do the time correction.
I apologize. So still on June 7th, still the day after Garcia and Rivera arrived back in Miami
That's correct.
after they were not able to kill Dan Markel.
That's correct.
Just a second. No further questions.
Please approach.
Going to stop here for the night. Once again, I'm going to give you the same instruction that I always do. Do not discuss the case with each other or anyone else. Do not watch any news reports or seek out any information concerning this matter. Please report at 8:30 again tomorrow morning, and we expect to get started at 8:45. Have a good night. I need you to be back here at 8:30 for your cross-examination as well.
Yes, sir.
And we'll also handle the issue concerning the transcript tomorrow morning. We are in recess. Have a good night, everyone.